A Mormon, an ex-Vogue employee, and a brass salesman. Oh, baby, this is the comedy you need. Hello, ladies and gents, boys and girls, people of all ages, sexualities, and identities, and welcome back to another series review. And today's series review is none other than Mid-Century Modern. So what is Mid-Century Modern about? Well, Mid-Century Modern is about three gay best friends who have just come into a very dark period in their life. They're still reconciling with their past whilst they also come together and pretty much rekindle their fire. They all meet up in the beginning of the pilot at one of their partners' funerals. The three gay men then proceed to, funnily enough, start fidgeting with the waistcoat of the recently deceased. Meanwhile, afterwards they have a discussion about living situations. The three guys then agree that they should all live together. However, they then realise they're not just living with their best friend, but his mother, Sibil. Now, Sibil is an absolutely incredible woman. She's determined, she's strict, and by God, she's a blunt Jewish woman. She takes none of their sass, and most importantly, throughout the series, she begins to teach them a couple life lessons about themselves and about their situation going forward. Not only does she tell them to up their standards and think about themselves, but she also points out to them that maybe just because something's easy doesn't mean that it's good. In one of the episodes, the three gay men are given the opportunity to have a maid or just someone to clean the house. However, due to their sexuality, they decide to choose the first hot guy who comes into the house. Sibyl then discovers that the guy, who is very good looking, is taking advantage of the three men. Knowing that they are immensely attracted to him, he uses this as an advantage to get money out of them for doing a job that he hasn't done. He's paid to be the cleaner, but he hasn't cleaned anything. Instead, he's just been stealing from their fridge. And due to the way that he flexes his muscles and uses his charm, it begins to paralyze the guys to the reality of what's really happening. In another episode, the Mormon, out of the three gays, ends up on a plane with his daughter. He soon learns that his daughter is essentially unaware of his presence on the plane. Arthur alerts him to the situation and he tries to do his best to get to know his little girl. However, due to some brainwashing and some bigotry between him and his ex-partner, it turns out that their relationship is always going to be subtly strained. He finds himself in a paradox in which his daughter is so madly in love with her own mum, he doesn't want to destroy that relationship. He understands that his relationship with his daughter was severed a long time ago, but he's not going to do that to her. In another episode, Arthur, who is the ex-Vogue employee, finds himself in a situation where he works in a job he can't stand. Sibyl tries to influence him into getting a job. However, when he does get the job and he works in the job, he is unsatisfied when he realizes that the manager just wants to put people in tacky clothes rather than actually consider the client's feelings. Arthur is repulsed by this, and Sibyl helps him out when he gets into a bit of a fix. Sibyl turns up on purpose, trying to get Arthur to admit his true feelings on what she's been given to wear. In another episode, the three guys end up finding themselves in a conflict with Fire Island. Now, Fire Island is a well-known gay hotspot. When the three men arrive, they find themselves conflicted as they face their past. Not only do they face the danger of repeating mistakes, they also find themselves face to face with people who remind them of exactly how they were. Arthur tells a young gay black man about how he doesn't necessarily have to act the way Arthur does. Even if he is obsessed with Arthur's ideas that he wrote years ago in a paper, he's got to be himself. Jeffrey tells a not yet out gay man that he needs to be true to himself. He may not have slept with a woman, but he really needs to ask himself if she is his future. After the events of this, we find Bunny in a situation in which he ends up arguing with his sister. Turns out that she has now had the kids grow up. She's not with her partner anymore, and she's not quite sure what to do with her life. Bunny gives her an offer. He offers her the bra business. Bunny is in a comfortable position where he has multiple stores, so he doesn't necessarily have to run the store near to him. On top of this, he's never liked the idea that him and his sister have had to fight for their family's love. Eventually, they have an agreement, and going forward, she decides to move down to Palm Springs to be nearer to her brother. Eventually, however, we get to the dark twist of this series. It turns out that Sibil has passed away, because the actress who plays her has passed away. This episode starts with such a great introduction. We have Bunny, Jeffrey, and Arthur in the kitchen, and Bunny is arguing with the boys trying to find some biscuits. It turns out that Sibil has hidden them from him, and when he thinks that they're in the salad bowl that Jeffrey unwittingly mentions, Sibil decides to hide it elsewhere. Bunny then goes off to find Sibil after she says she's not feeling very well. Turns out that Sibil sadly passes away from a heart attack in the car, but she tells him one good bit of advice before she passes. She tells him that she loves her son and that she wants him to live. Eventually, after the funeral's over, Bunny, Jeffrey, and Arthur find themselves in a situation where they end up comforting one another. Bunny begins to play the tune We'll Meet Again, and then discovers that the pack of biscuits was hidden under the piano. The final installment in this series, we find a story in which the three gay guys begin to question what they're going to do with Sibil's room. They all eventually agree that they want to turn it into a gay gym. Bunny then has a very funny conversation with his sister Mindy about the future of where they're going. Mindy keeps turning up and deciding to nick out of the three guys' fridge. But to make matters worse, it turns out that one of Bunny's ex-friends turns up confessing his love. On top of this, Jeffrey ends up bumping back into the guy who wasn't out yet, who has left his bride at the altar. The episode concludes with them sorting their situation out, thanks to Mindy giving them the hard talk. So, mid-century modern. What did I think of this series? It's hilarious, it's funny, and it is relatable in some aspects. I love the idea of these three characters not only recollecting over their past, but also dealing with their present. Arthur has a really deep story where he is essentially talking to a girl that he went out with when he was younger, and they slept with, well, he believed they slept with, and then always regretted not telling her that he was gay. Our Mormon, Jeffrey, has always been seen as a docile, kind of cliche character, but as he goes along, you really start to feel for the guy. Understanding the situation he's in with his ex-wife, understanding the situation he's in with his future, and most importantly, understanding the dispute he has with his two friends. Jeffrey had a one-night stand with Arthur at one point, and that makes Bunny feel isolated from the two in one of the episodes. This all goes back, way back, to Fire Island, and the group begin to reconcile the fact that no matter what happened in the past, it doesn't change who they are in the present. I feel like one of Sibil's most powerful moments in this whole series is when she goes out to the back and hires the woman who cleans hats to clean the house. The importance of this scene isn't just the fact that she does that, but when she explains the fact that she may not have been listened to by men when she was younger, but she ain't gonna let her son nor his friends ignore her now. This is a really important bit of juxtaposition because at the end of the day, it's very funny with these three characters. They often talk in the series about being accepted for their sexuality, but sometimes they forget as much as anyone else how much their actions affect people. And suddenly when they do wake up to it, they realise how cruel they're being. So overall, what would I give this series? Well, it's queer, it's fabulous, and most importantly, it sends a message of love, hope, and resilience in the odds when they're against you. And for that reason, I give Mid-Century Modern a solid 10 out of 10. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next series review. Until then, goodbye, stay beautiful, and have an incredible night.